Hello there, and welcome to another edition of the North Florida College Football Gridiron Report here on North Florida Sports Talk. Marty Pallman, along with Corey Davis. As you can see, Corey at the bottom of the screen with the Duke. Really, we're going to talk about that on the show. How is Duke in the ACC championship game? We're going to talk about the SEC championship, all the championship games. Really, what a Thanksgiving weekend it was for football, and then of course on Sunday, the coaching carousel. The dominoes all fell in one day. It seemed like.
Oh my
Um,
God. We went 8 consecutive weeks with the coaching change. And then all of a sudden on Sunday, it just, you know,
exploded,
total
literally.
chaos.
Yeah, it was. And the thing about it was, okay, I'll go ahead and admit Corey was right about Lane Kiffin. And I honestly, I think Scott Strickland screwed this up big time for Florida, the athletic director. But here's the thing, John Summerall, after listening to this guy, I'm okay with him. I think he's going to do well, but we'll see,
Well,
obviously.
let me blow your mind because I heard this today, and I don't know if it's true or not. But apparently FSU
Yes,
contacted Kiffin about going there,
I did hear
even th-
about this today.
even though they didn't fire their coach.
No, apparently they made a last ditch effort to get Kiffin, so they were actually in the mold there. But as it turns out, he goes to LSU. I don't know if you were watching. Well, I'm sure you're watching ESPN because you're watching college football on Saturday. But Saturday and Sunday, Marty Smith of ESPN was on
Oh
that
yeah,
story. He
oh
was
yeah.
he was camping out at the house his
hmm
house. He was everywhere, and he finally got an interview with Kiffin, who then ends up at LSU. He gets jeered by the Ole Miss fans on the way out. I don't know. He for some reason this guy can't ever get this right. He always kind of screws up his exits, and it makes people really mad. And at this point, I mean, he goes from Ole Miss' biggest rival to LSU to take over that program after taking Ole Miss to the playoff, but now he's not going to coach him in the playoff.
hmm Well,
It's a whole weird
well,
situation.
he tried to do that, but they told him no. You will
Yeah, for
not
good
be
reason, I think.
you will
Yeah,
not be coaching this team any longer. And then so and then he gave several of his coaches an ultimatum. If you want to go with me, you got to hop on the plane right now.
I didn't get that either, but I mean, that's like
So
a big
I
loyalty
think it,
thing, I guess.
I think it
Yeah.
was like 4 or 5 coaches that left to go with him. And there's a video of people of him getting on the plane and Ole Miss fans booing and and yelling obscenities towards not just him but the other coaches leaving too.
Yeah, as you said.
And Marty, you talked about McGee. There was it was all over social media, of course, about him being there and trying to break the story because he was there so long on social media. They kept aging him. Like they kept like I saw pictures of him with like gray hair.
Who's that?
Marty McGee.
Oh, McGee.
Yeah, like there was pictures of him because he was literally waiting so long to break the story
That's Marty
that
Smith. That's Marty
or
Smith. Yeah.
Marty Smith, sorry.
But the other
They
one is Marty McGee. That's the show. Yeah, right.
yeah.
Ryan McGee. Mhm.
So they literally kept adding like gray hair to the top of his head, gray
Yeah.
hair to his beard. Like
Yeah.
he they made him look like he was 70 years old because he had been there like 24 hours trying to break the story.
I know. That's it's funny, but he was on it, no doubt, and he did get the story. So
Yeah.
good job reporting there by Marty Smith of ESPN. But that's a little bit of it's gonna be a busy show here. And by the way, we're coming to you this afternoon from our houses. As
hmm
again, we had to make a last minute decision yesterday to move the show from last night. We will be back next Wednesday night. That's the plan, from 9 to 10. From B for Brady's and Stark. Next week we'll be looking ahead to we'll be looking at the bowl games. I mean, because we'll know who's in the playoff, who's going to be playing each other. That's all going to be decided this Sunday because we have conference championship games on
Correct.
Saturday. So we'll have
Yeah.
all that next week. So we'll have a lot to look forward to there. Um, we're going to take a couple weeks off around the holidays, maybe a week or two, probably 2 weeks, and then come back around the first of the year during the playoff, and then take you to the national championship game. So that's the plan right now. But let's start looking at it last week as a big, busy rivalry week, Thanksgiving week it was. Both the ACC and SEC ended their regular season with rivalry games, and they ended up splitting 2-2. Georgia beat Georgia Tech 16-9. I think I was not expecting that low scoring a game. Florida beating FSU 40-21. Jaden Baugh, 266 yards, second all time on the Florida list behind Emmitt Smith. He had 266 rushing. And Louisville all over Kentucky 41-0, which then led to the firing of Mark Stoops. And Clemson winning in Columbia against South Carolina 28-14. So nothing solved there. SEC and ACC split it. By the way, the ACC-SEC basketball.
Don't steal my nugget.
You got more on? Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
You got that on there, don't you? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk basketball too. But anyway, those are your 4 ACC SEC games.
And it actually ended, if you count regular season games during the year too, not just that weekend, but it actually ended 5-5 between the SEC and with Florida beating FSU. It ended 5-5.
That's interesting considering how everyone's been complaining about the ACC this year. But
right.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
So, other key rivalry games last week. Virginia defeats Virginia Tech 27-7 as they clinch their berth in the ACC championship game. NC State all over Bill Belichick in North Carolina 41-19. The Wolfpack will be heading to a bowl. Texas, this was a big upset over Texas A&M 27-17. A&M's first loss of the year, and that drops them out of the SEC championship. Oklahoma, boy, this was a game. They struggled in this game. Oklahoma did. Luckily, they got a wide receiver wide open with about 5 minutes to go, and they were able to hold off LSU 17-13, which will pretty much clinch Oklahoma's spot in the college football playoff. And Vanderbilt, how about the Commodores? And they're not going to make the playoff. I would make an argument for them, but what a year for them, 10-2. They go into Knoxville, and it was a 21-all game. They pull away to win 45-24 over Tennessee, as they're now 10-2.
Yeah, that was a crazy game. I wasn't able to watch it because of that's the unfortunate thing about having so many different rivalry games is that a lot of these are on at the same time.
Yeah, they
same
were.
Time, Florida and Florida State were playing. Also, Vanderbilt and Tennessee were playing. I believe Oklahoma and LSU were also playing around the same time.
They were.
And so, can't watch every game. I did watch part of the Clemson game. I did watch, obviously, the Georgia Tech game on Friday.
I didn't get to see that game because we had high school.
Well, I say I take that back. I didn't get. Well, I got to watch a little bit of it, but then most of the time I was in the car heading to Ocala.
Right. I was listening to it. You're right.
Yeah.
I saw some of the Clemson South Carolina game as well. I saw the Virginia Tech game Saturday night. I didn't see any of A&M in Texas. I listened to a little bit because again we had football. But like you said, I didn't see a lot of Vandy, Tennessee. Definitely saw the Florida game as well. So, and by the way, with the loss to Florida, FSU has now gone 735 days since winning their last road game. I don't know how Mike Norvell still has his job, honestly, but I think part of it has to do that buyout.
If Kiffin would have said yes,
oh yeah,
I think no doubt he would have been.
Right.
See you later.
Right. Absolutely, I agree with that. But FSU, they end up out of a bowl game as Florida beats them. They finish 5-7. Trophy time. Duke claimed the second annual battle for the Old North State Tobacco Road, which is a smoking pig.
It's actually really cool. It reminds me of the one that Iowa plays. I want to say Michigan State,
Minnesota, the Floyd of Rosedale or whatever the pig.
It's literally a pig on top of the trophy, and Marty, he's got a cigar in his mouth.
Oh, because of North Carolina. Yeah, Tobacco Road, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, that's got to be fairly new because I don't remember that.
Yeah,
but,
it's only the second time. Last year was the first time they did this.
Yeah.
And, it gets a little more complicated because Duke was able to win it because they won all 3 in-state games. But I'm sure it gets heck of a complicated when teams, split.
Right. So Duke beat Wake Forest 49-32 to claim that. They had already beaten NC State 45-33 in North Carolina 32-25. And then even bigger news for Duke, they're going to the ACC championship game, which we will get into a little bit later against Virginia. Meanwhile, Ole Miss taking the Egg Bowl again, which ended up being the last game for Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, 38-19 against Mississippi State in Starkville. Missouri gets the Battle Line Trophy. They hold on to it after beating Arkansas 31-17 as Missouri finishes the regular season 8-4. Arkansas, I believe, ends up 2-10, winless in the SEC this year. And then they did hire a coach, though. Good news about that. And Alabama, this is a new one. The Foy ODK Sportsmanship Trophy. I didn't know about this one either. After beating Auburn 27-20.
It was first handed out in 1948. Well, because some rivalries don't make a big deal about their trophies, and that's
Yeah.
obviously one of them.
Well, it's the Iron Bowl. I mean, yeah, but
You
yeah.
never see after the game the school running over and grabbing the trophy. It's the same
Yeah.
thing with like I didn't even know Texas and Oklahoma had a trophy, and actually technically they have 3 trophies because one of them is a cowboy hat. It's a Browns cowboy hat,
Yeah.
a bronze cowboy hat, I should say. But they have 3 trophies. But some rivalries just don't make it a big deal. Like Florida Georgia actually has a trophy, but you don't
Yeah.
know it.
Well, it's
Because
like the Florida State plays for the War Canoe or something, don't they? Or
well, they used to. Now they
they're not
call
doing
it
that anymore. Okay.
no, because if Florida doesn't play Miami, they don't play for it anymore. And I think Miami lost it. They claim they lost it. Because it's only handed out if all 3 play each other. So now they call it the Sunshine State Showdown, I think it's called.
Yeah, it is the Sunshine State. That's right. Brought to you by like Florida Fresh
Dairy Farmers
or something like that. Yeah, I think it's the Agriculture Department or something. But yeah.
And then of course you got my favorite trophy in the Big Ten. Minnesota held off Wisconsin. I did watch this game.
17-7, the Paul Bunyan Trophy. Yes.
This game was played in a blizzard. I mean,
this game was on TV. I don't remember seeing this at all.
Oh yeah, it was like the 7:30, 8 o'clock game, and then because of weather, it got kind of postponed till later. But Minnesota hangs on to win. They win the Paul Bunyan Trophy, and it's literally a huge, humongous axe.
Yeah.
And one side's painted red, and the other side's painted like burgundy. And they have all the scores from every. And this is also the oldest rivalry played in D1.
Yeah,
and
of course. Yeah.
And because of this, now Minnesota leads 63-8.
Yeah, it's been 135 times they played, and Minnesota takes a 1-game lead with that win. That's pretty crazy how even that's been. But Minnesota wins it for the 4th time in 5 years. Actually, I was watching Illinois Northwestern in the snow. That's the game I was watching. I don't know if they play for a trophy, but obviously a Battle of Illinois. Illinois won that game.
Yeah.
But they were playing in snow, really heavy snow, a lot of that game on Saturday night. That was on I think that was on Fox. I don't know. Minnesota, Wisconsin must have been on Big Ten Network, but
no, because I don't have that, so it had to be on.
Maybe it was FS1 or something.
Maybe, yeah.
All right, so let's see.
Yeah, I bet you didn't know about this one.
Rumors circulated late Wednesday night that Vanderbilt was trying to put together a last-minute game with whomever to try to help its chances of getting in the playoff. However, last-minute logistics of all the Commoners were able. Hold on, they wanted to play another game this weekend.
Yeah, and so the rule.
I didn't heard about this. You're right.
So there's a rule that if you play against Hawaii, you're allowed to schedule 13 games. Well, the only way Vanderbilt could have done this is if they played somebody in Hawaii.
Really? They have to play in Hawaii.
There were rumors that Vanderbilt wanted to play Miami in Hawaii. But they would have taken anybody. But the problem is the game had to be in Hawaii for this game to happen. And there just wasn't enough time to put this together because it was literally the last couple of days they tried to put this together.
Right.
They were unable to find an opponent that quick and then make all the arrangements and book flights and all that. So, yeah, interesting little nugget there. The Vanderbilt, they're trying to push themselves into the playoffs. And so they wanted to schedule another game against a good team to kind of lift them into the playoffs.
I think Vanderbilt's got an argument. I do. But you're right. I don't think they're going to make it. And Miami, to me, doesn't have as much of an argument, but that's because it's the ACC. But anyway, but they have beaten Notre Dame. And it looks like Notre Dame's not necessarily in. We'll talk about this later. They could get left out as well still, depending on the results this weekend coming up. But rumors out there that Arkansas and LSU will resume their annual rivalry game back on Thanksgiving weekend. It used to be the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it was always the CBS game for years.
That would force Missouri and Oklahoma to play Thanksgiving weekend now. Yeah, did they play? They did play each other, right? It was a few weeks ago though. They moved that game. Arkansas played LSU in Baton Rouge.
They play every year, but now it's become, it's become a normal game during the year where it used to be every Friday after Thanksgiving. the 3:30 game on CBS. And
I feel like Missouri, once Missouri came in, it became Missouri and Arkansas playing.
so you're right. Arkansas and Missouri play each other, and LSU and Oklahoma play each other now.
Right.
And this was actually, I put rumor, but this actually in the mix. They're actually trying to make this happen.
Yeah.
So
we'll see if they do that for next year.
Yeah. And here we're coming up on your other little nuggets here. So many coaching changes. It was hard to keep up with all this.
Kansas State, North Texas, Florida, Cal, Kentucky, Michigan State, Auburn, Arkansas, LSU, Ole Miss, Kennesaw State, South Florida, all made changes.
And I might be missing other ones. Actually, I got Kansas State. There were so many that it was like hard to keep up with this kind of crap.
Yeah, North Texas hired the former West Virginia and Troy head coach Neil Brown. I saw that as their head coach went to Oklahoma State. Their coach. I mean, of course, we said John Sumrall leaving Tulane for Florida, so now Tulane has an opening.
Yep.
Cal hired a new coach. I didn't see who that was. Kentucky.
It was a guy from Oregon, like an offensive coordinator or something.
That was Kentucky.
Or Kentucky, okay.
Kentucky hired Will Stein, who was the OC at Oregon, who, by the way, is a former Louisville quarterback. So that's going to go over well, you think, at UK, a Louisville guy being their head coach. But Michigan State, they hired Pat Fitzgerald, a former Northwestern head coach who was run out of there a couple of years ago due to that hazing scandal. So Michigan State.
And the way that all this went down Sunday, obviously, this stuff's been going on for weeks.
Yeah, they were waiting for the season to end, I think.
I mean, for literally to be like, okay, coach, you're fired. Oh, by the way, we're hiring this guy. I mean, that's kind of how it went for all these schools. Because the Kennesaw State coach resigned and took the South Florida job. South Florida coach went to
Auburn.
I mean, there's so many domino pieces in this.
Yeah, Alex Golish is the new Auburn coach, as you mentioned, from USF. Led them to a 10-2 record or a 9-3 record this year. Arkansas hires Ryan Silverfield, who was the head coach at Memphis, I believe. Yeah, and that's funny because Memphis beat Arkansas earlier this year.
Yeah, I remember that game
back in like week 2 or 3, which started the end of Sam Pittman basically at Arkansas. But LSU, of course, they hired old Lane Kiffin, and Ole Miss decided to just promote their defensive coordinator Pete Golding. I guess he's the permanent head coach. He's not just the interim. He's going to be the head coach.
I was surprised that they called him the permanent head coach. Especially when you're coming off of Lane Kiffin and you go to this guy, and you would think that they would try to go after somebody bigger, but they decided to stay in the house.
And as you mentioned, Kennesaw State, their coach goes to USF, and now Kennesaw State looking for a coach as well. So, I think it was. You're right about that, Corey. I think that they had everyone. They were just waiting for the season to end to go. All right, you're done. This guy's waiting.
Right.
I absolutely agree, and I think that's part of what was going on with Lane Kiffin too. But we'll never find out. I guess that. But looking ahead, New Mexico State and FSU have agreed to play Week 0 next year in Tallahassee. Marty's favorite rivalry game. NC State and Virginia played non-conference this season. We'll play in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, August 29th.
They're actually debating whether or not this is going to be a conference game or non-conference game. I heard several people say both ways, that this will be a non-conference game. No, this will be a conference game. We won't know until the ACC actually releases their schedule. So it could be another non-conference game.
Do you realize if they had counted that as an ACC game, Virginia would have been in that tiebreaker? They would have had 2 losses too. So if that game had counted in the ACC, Virginia may not even be in the ACC championship game.
Correct.
So that's why it's a little, I don't know, it's a little weird when conference teams playing, you don't count it. But the SEC did announce today they will release their schedules. They always do this early. December 11th, that's a week from today, 8 p.m. on the SEC network. They do a 2-hour show. It's kind of like the NFL schedule rollout a little bit. The league switches from 8 to 9 conference games in 2026, so we'll see how that goes. But they do like getting that out before Christmas, which is interesting because the season hasn't even fully ended from before. But it'll get people a chance to talk about that, as they'll have 9 conference games next year. The SEC's been talking about that forever. There we go. Here's the story I wanted to talk about. Tiebreaker madness. Nearly every conference decided to forego divisions. The thought was the 2 best teams in each conference would play for the conference championship. This has ruined these conference championship games too for me, but that you don't have conference like divisions anymore. But giving their conference the best chance to make the college football playoff. This year is anything but that, as the ACC, SEC, Mountain West, and the Mid-American all were decided by chaos. A 5-way tie in the ACC occurred after Cal upset SMU. That was a big game. Watch that one late Saturday night. SMU losing that game late to Cal, tried to come back. So that left Georgia Tech, Miami, Duke, Pitt, and SMU all finishing 6-2 in league play. Virginia was 7-1. The deciding tiebreaker was conference opponents' winning percentage, giving Duke 7-5 the edge and the trip to Charlotte to face Virginia. Excuse me, what does that mean? Conference opponents' winning percentage. Does that mean the teams that they played? They're conference opponents.
That's what I would take. Yes.
So they didn't even have to beat any of these teams. It was just the winning percentage that the teams had.
And here's the thing about this. Like I said, the whole reason they went away from divisional play was to allegedly get the 2 best teams in the conference a better chance to play for the championship. Okay, right. That's great. And I knew this was going to happen. I actually had this conversation with a friend of mine, Brent Beard, maybe just halfway through the season, maybe earlier. I'm like,
oh, by the way, that's somebody we need to get on the show. I meant to say that before, but anyway.
If there's chaos like this, which there is, would they consider going back to divisional play? And he quickly said, no, they will not. That's a thing of the past. Yeah. I think if it continues like this, they will, because there is no reason a 7-5 team should be playing in the conference championship game when Georgia Tech had a much better record. Miami, Pitt, SMU all had a better record.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It should have came down to, if you're truly trying to get the best team in the conference, the tiebreaker. But if head-to-head can't break it, the number one thing should have been whatever team is the top ranked team in the college football playoff rankings should have gone. Yeah. And in this case, it would have been Miami, I think. And then Georgia Tech was like right behind. Well, not
Miami was highest ranked.
Yeah. So it really should have been Miami. But unfortunately, we're stuck with Duke.
And that's what I mean. And this whole scenario now has put in a situation where if Duke wins this game Saturday night in Charlotte, the ACC is not going to have a team in the playoff.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they will. Unless Miami, but unless Miami slips in there somehow, but I don't think they're going to. And you're right. Unless if Virginia wins, yes, I think you've got a team. But still, Duke winning this is going to totally screw up everything. That's why I'm thinking the ACC's tiebreaker is kind of odd. Now, the SEC, on the other hand, they had 4 teams. I was wondering about this too: Texas A&M, Alabama, Ole Miss, and Georgia. Coming in the final weekend, all had a shot at getting to Atlanta. As nothing had been decided. Texas, though, knocks off Texas A&M, giving A&M their first loss. Alabama,
that loss eliminated A&M.
They were out before Saturday's games,
which is crazy because they were undefeated
11-1
that game. So
I couldn't understand that either. That's the part I didn't get. But they were out, as you said. But then Alabama had to beat Auburn. But if Alabama loses that game, Ole Miss is in. That's what it was. It wasn't even A&M, but Alabama, and they had to score late to win this game against Auburn. So that puts Georgia and Alabama in the championship game. Your question, of course, is should we go back to divisional play, or do we like the chaos? Speaking of the SEC, this is the 12th consecutive championship game to involve either Alabama or Georgia. The last time at least one of these teams was not involved, 2013, when Auburn beat Missouri.
Yeah, I got to credit the SEC for tweeting that out and the next little nugget too. But that shows you how dominating. There was a time where Florida and Alabama played the first 5 or 6 years that they started.
They played for the first 5 years, I think, with the exception of Arkansas got in there 1 year, played Florida. And then they've played overall in the SEC championship game 7 times, I think.
Right. Yeah.
Actually 8 now. Because after 2020. So, that's been a pretty common opponent. Alabama, by the way, has never lost to Georgia in the SEC championship game. They're 4-0 since 2018. It's the 5th time they've met since then. Going back to your question about divisional player chaos, I think we like chaos. I think is what it is. I mean, it is interesting, though. It makes it more interesting. I agree.
Well, because Alabama didn't play Texas A&M and Ole Miss didn't play Alabama. They didn't play A&M. Yeah, because Ole Miss only lost to Georgia. So yeah,
Georgia lost to Alabama, but yeah, that's right.
The West would have been decided if we were still in divisional play, but obviously Georgia would have won the East easily. But I mean, it does make you think maybe we should go back to divisional play. But the college football people in charge like this kind of chaos.
Yeah, they do. It's attention. It gets you attention.
Yeah.
And you're right. It gets publicity as well. In the Mountain West, this one I didn't know about. Total chaos. Boise State 8-4, 6-2. New Mexico 9-3, 6-2. San Diego State 9-3 and 6-2. And UNLV 10-2 and 6-2. All finished in a 4-way tie. Computer poll selected Boise State and UNLV to play in the championship. I was wondering how UNLV got into this.
It wasn't because you would assume it would have came down to which they don't come out till that didn't come out till Tuesday, I think, the playoff rankings. And it wasn't even done by that because this thing was decided like Sunday night who was going to play in the game. So an unnamed computer poll selected Boise State and UNLV.
Unnamed computer poll?
Okay. Well, because they didn't name it. They just said a computer poll.
All right.
New Mexico State should have been in this championship game because they had an incredible year.
Right.
UNLV, obviously, with 10 wins. They just,
New Mexico, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry, New Mexico, not Mexico State.
Yeah.
But it should have been anybody but Boise because if you look at the records, all three of those other teams had better records. But this is what we get when we get chaos.
It is what we get. And we had this, as you said, in a few conferences.
Oh, but wait, it gets better. Continue on.
Yeah. Next up, because we're going to talk about Maction a little bit. And in that, we had a tie there as well. So Western Michigan 8-4, 7-1 won the Mid-American regular season title. Who would they play became a huge topic of conversation. Ohio 8-4, 6-2, Toledo 8-4, 6-2, and Miami, Ohio 7-5, 6-2, all tied for second. As Corey writes, somehow Miami, Ohio was selected to play in the conference championship game again.
Well, because they didn't really.
So you're saying there's not a real tiebreaker here?
Well,
they just picked them.
They didn't really discuss how they broke the tie. Like all of a sudden, it just said, okay, Miami, Ohio will play Western Michigan in the championship game. Like it was never talked about, at least as far as I could tell, why Miami, Ohio was selected because it really should have been either because Toledo was the one that was really ticked off about this. Yeah. I think Toledo felt like they should have been the team to play Western Michigan because they were 8-4. So was Ohio. But again, everybody loves drama.
Everybody loves drama. You're right. So it'll be Miami of Ohio against Western Michigan for the Mid-American.
That game is played in Detroit, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's Friday night, right? Ford Field. That game is Friday night, and the Tulane and North Texas, the American.
And then, of course, on Thursday night, we got the Lions and the Cowboys playing on same stadium
tonight. Yeah, at Ford Field. That's right. And they usually do that with both teams play on Thanksgiving. They play on the following
crap!
Thursday.
I forgot that is tonight. You're right.
Yeah, we're not. It's not Wednesday. I know we're used to that, but it's Thursday. Check that game out tonight. It's a big game for the Cowboys and the Lions. Both teams trying to make the playoffs in the NFC. But that's we don't talk NFL here, so I'd like to at times, but we don't do that. So 10 more teams are coming bowl eligible. All 82 bowl slots have been filled. How about that? Georgia Southern makes it. Missouri State, Washington State, Army, Penn State, and Kansas State qualifies with the winner of Colorado.
Question mark.
Yeah, as we see down here, Chris Kleeman is retiring as K-State coach, so they may not even go to a bowl game.
Which means Auburn.
Yeah, it's 5-7
because
Auburn.
It was Auburn, FSU, Wisconsin, I think, were the order of the APR rankings. So if Kansas State, I think they were meeting today to talk about with the players, do you guys want to go to the bowl or not? And if they turned it down, then Auburn would potentially take that next spot.
Well, the first two bowl games we have set now, the Xbox Frisco Bowl, which used to be the Bahamas Bowl, December 18th in Frisco, Texas, Arkansas State and Missouri State. And this is always a fun one on Christmas Eve, the Hawaii Bowl. Guess who's going to play the Hawaii Bowl? Hawaii. Yeah. They're going to host it. And guess who they're going to host? Another ACC team. That's how they began the year, beating Stanford. They're going to play
Mhm.
Cal in this bowl game on Christmas Eve.
I know they do this for financial reasons. I mean, you get to play in your own bed. You know, I'm sure playing in Hawaii and having to travel somewhere else, it
Plus, I
costs.
think the Hawaii fans local will go to the game. I mean,
Right.
part of it.
But
Yeah.
but to me, playing in a bowl game, there's something special about going to a place that you've never been to
Yeah.
before,
Right.
regardless of where it is. I mean, unless you're stuck in like Shreveport, Louisiana,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
it's something special about playing in a place you're not familiar with.
Story about that. A little bit of personal story. My father played at Georgia Tech. We talked about that many times, but
Mm-hmm.
in his senior year, they had a choice between 3 bowl games. They were 9, 8, and 3. It was the Bluebonnet Bowl at a time in Houston,
Mm-hmm.
the Sun Bowl in El Paso, which Georgia
Mm-hmm.
Tech had never been to, and the Peach Bowl right there in Atlanta. Well, immediately they eliminated the Peach Bowl because why the heck are we going to go play up the road at Fulton County Stadium? We're in this city. So
Mm-hmm.
they said no to the Peach Bowl and ended up in the Sun Bowl in El Paso. But yeah, you're right. Why would you want to? That's like when Vanderbilt played the Music City Bowl. It's like that can't be a big deal for them because they're just
Right.
playing at
Yeah.
home. So I
Yeah.
tend to I see what you're saying. But for Hawaii, it's a little different because it's hard to get teams to travel there, as you said,
Yeah.
to Hawaii. All right, so conference supremacy after day one, the ACC held a comfortable 6-3 lead, and we're going to talk basketball now. Yes, after day one, the ACC was up 6-3 over the SEC in the ACC SEC Men's Basketball
And I
Challenge.
guess I didn't finish my little nugget there, but I was trying to say that Duke beat Florida,
Louisville beat Louisville.
and Syracuse beat Tennessee. I know that
North
much.
Carolina beat Kentucky that night
Okay.
too. That's what it was. Yeah, Syracuse beat Tennessee, and Duke edged Florida. But yeah, I thought they split 8-8. I thought I saw that.
SEC won 9-7.
Oh, so then they won. They won
Yeah.
6 of the 7 games last night.
Yeah.
I thought I saw they were tied, but I know Georgia beat FSU like 107-73 or something. But so the SEC takes it for the second straight year. Last year was 14-2. Of course, the SEC was probably at its best last year in basketball. Not as good this year, but still not bad there as well. Meanwhile, 1AA playoffs round 1. We talked about this. How about this game? Yale was down 42-10 in this game. I think
It was 35-7 at the half.
Yeah. At the half, they come back and beat Youngstown State 43-42. Yale's first ever FCS playoff game. And they rallied to win that. Not so good news for Harvard. They lose 52-7 to Villanova,
Right.
who's the 12 seed. Rhode Island over Central Connecticut 27-19. Rhode Island the 9 seed. 10 seed Abilene Christian 38. Lamar 20. Illinois State over Southeast Louisiana 21-3. North Dakota beats the 13 seed Tennessee Tech 31-6. 14 seed South Dakota State over New Hampshire 41-3, and the 11 seed South Dakota over Drake 38-17. So in round 2 coming up this week, it'll be Illinois State at the number 1 seed North Dakota State, who had a bye last week, 12-0. Number 9 Rhode Island at the 8 seed UC Davis, 10-2 against 8-3. 12 seed Villanova 10-2 at the 5 seed Lehigh, who's unbeaten 12-0. North Dakota 8-5 at the number 4 seed Tarleton State 11-1. They also were off last
I'm ready.
week.
Extra credit if you can tell me where that school is.
You know what? I did not know this until recently. I had to look this up. It's in Texas.
You are correct.
Yep. I actually had to look that up because there was a coach. Somebody was from Tarleton State, so I looked it up. But 14.
We actually talked about them back in week 0. They played a game. They were
On
one
TV.
of the teams that played
Right.
opening game.
That's right. They did. We did talk about them back then.
Yeah.
14 seed South Dakota State way back in week 0.
Yeah.
14 seed South Dakota State 9-4 at the 3 seed Montana is 11-1. 11 seed South Dakota 9-4 at the 6 seed Mercer 9-2. That game will be in Macon. Yale 9-2. Congratulations! Now you get to travel to Montana and take on the 2 seed Montana State, who's 10-2. They have a chance there. Does Yale have much of a chance there?
No, not. I would give them 99% chance they're going to lose.
Did you think they were going to beat Youngstown State though?
No.
Right.
Especially when they were down 35-7.
Yeah, crazy comeback.
Yeah.
And the 10 seed Abilene Christian 9-3 at the 17 Stephen F. Austin 10-2. Those games are that game will be at Stephen F. Austin. So all those games will be this weekend, I believe. Friday and Saturday.
All Saturday.
All Saturday. And then after that, I guess we'll be in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, we will. And those will be Friday, Saturday. And those
Yeah,
are the
right.
games. The only game that's on TV that anybody can watch. I think it was, and it's like a 10 o'clock game too. I don't remember if it was Stephen F. Austin or maybe the one of the Montana games, but there is one game on TV. The rest of them you have to watch on ESPN
ESPN
Plus.
Plus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Here are the other some of the other conference championship games. Actually, will be Friday's conference championship games. We're starting Conference USA. Kennesaw State 9-3 at Jacksonville State 8-4. Kennesaw State's coach is leaving. Not sure if he's going to coach this game. That'll be at 7 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. This is Friday night. The Sun Belt game will be between 8-4 Troy and 11-1 James Madison. James Madison still with an outside shot at making the playoff if they can win this game. That'll be 7 o'clock on ESPN. American Athletic Conference, North Texas 11-1, Tulane 10-2. Both coaches are leaving.
Yep.
And this game, but one's going to Oklahoma State, one's going to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. We'll get to see John Summerall in action for Tulane as he tries to put the Green Wave in the college football playoff. That'll be 8 o'clock on ABC on Friday, and then the Mountain West game, 8 o'clock on Fox. Dan Mullen trying to win a conference title in his first season, as we talked about this game earlier. 10-2 UNLV at Boise State, who's 8-4. Again, that'll be on Fox on the blue turf of Boise, 8 o'clock Friday night. Saturday gets started at noon. Big 12. This is a big one. BYU and Texas Tech, both teams 11-1. Texas Tech is in the playoff, I would say. I think BYU's probably got to win to get in. I think Texas Tech's in either way, but both teams.
Yeah, I would agree.
But BYU needs to win this. And by the way, BYU's coach Kalani Sitake turned down Penn State earlier this week. Penn State still doesn't have a coach. I don't know who they're going to get at this point because everyone else has a coach. But interesting story there. So that's the noon game on ABC on Saturday, the Big 12. The MAC game is at noon on ESPN, Miami of Ohio against Western Michigan. The SEC game, 4 o'clock on ABC. I kind of wish this was a primetime game. Georgia 11-1 against Alabama 10-2 once again. The ACC championship will be Saturday night in Charlotte. Duke 7-5 against Virginia 10-2, 8 o'clock on ABC. We haven't talked about this game at all. The Big Ten, the top two teams in the country. Number 1, Ohio State 12-0. Number 2, Indiana 12-0. 8 o'clock on Fox. I watched that game Saturday. Ohio State, Michigan in the snow in Ann Arbor, and Ohio State finally got that done. I don't think it was a very good Michigan team, but Ohio State finally beats Michigan. Now they're going to get Indiana. The only 2 unbeaten teams left in the nation.
Yeah, something we said about all those Big Ten games that were played in the miserable snowing conditions. I mean, it wasn't. You said Northwestern Illinois. You had Minnesota, Wisconsin,
Michigan, Ohio State. Yeah, Ohio State, Michigan. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there were several games in the Big Ten that were played like that.
In the Midwest, yeah.
Yeah, right. and I'm sure there were not Big 12. What else would have been over there? Anyway. I watched part of that game, once Ohio State took control of it, I'd change the game. But I was kind of hoping Michigan would win to cause more chaos.
Yeah.
Because if Michigan would have won, it would be Michigan and Indiana, I believe, in the championship game.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because Michigan was still alive, and there was one more school that was still alive. Was it Oregon? Oregon was still alive.
It was Oregon. Yeah, I think Oregon could have gotten in, could have possibly gotten in as well. Yeah. So, oh, wow. Apparently, this is breaking news. Sources, apparently ESPN.com sources is reporting. Sources say Florida is expected to hire Georgia Tech's Buster Faulkner as the school's next offensive coordinator. So, interesting.
Oh, there's some interesting news about Florida that came out today. I don't know if you saw this, but Kevin Sullivan was cleared from all his alleged charges.
Kevin Sullivan, yeah, right.
Yeah. So good to hear that from.
Well, I mean, he was. I question if he's going to be back as a coach still, because I mean that story obviously is out there and that it happened. But yeah, you're right.
Well, he's got to serve his 3-game suspension when they open up against Cupcake University. But he'll be back after that. Also,
it looks like, so Florida looks like they're going to hire him. Their defensive coordinator, they announced, was coming from Kentucky. Florida did. Brian White was Kentucky's defensive coordinator, so he's heading to Florida, as obviously Mark Stoops was that
All right.
was fired. So anyway, Kentucky hired a new coach already. So yeah,
Let's get
so
to the
that
picks.
it was a good weekend of football. Enjoyed it. Got to watch some on Saturday. Didn't get to watch a lot on Friday, but yeah, that's yeah. So let's go ahead and get to the picks. We got a decent amount of picks to go to. Got about another 15 minutes left tonight. Again, thanks for joining us. Again, last minute change today on the show. Again, we'll be back next Wednesday, regular time 9 to 10 from Beef Brady's and Stark. That's the plan. And we will talk to you more about at that point. Again, we'll know the conference championship winners, and they will know the bowl game participants. So we'll talk about that a lot next week as well. I don't think we're going to have a whole lot of more coaching news at this point. I think most of them have been filled, but we'll see about that as well.
Maybe Penn State, hopefully.
Penn State's about the only one left I can think of. Also, there's a rumor that Billy Napier might be going to James Madison because their coach is heading to – where's their coach going now? Oh, UCLA.
Yeah.
His name is Chesney, not Kenny Chesney, but I know it's something else. James Madison may be close to hiring Billy Napier, which would be a good fit for him.
Let's think about that, because where did the Indiana coach come from? Didn't he come from James Madison?
James Madison. He was at Cincinnati. No, not Cincinnati.
Which is why Indiana got so good, because they got a bunch of those transfers over from James.
Yeah, Madison. Right, exactly. All right, let's take a look at the picks for this week. First of all, you don't have the results for these either, do you?
No, but college was a much closer competition.
It's been closer, yeah.
Yeah, so we're both still in the race for to win the college title. Obviously.
We'll try and update next week, this past week as well. All right, we'll start off. I'll have I guess I'll start these. Illinois State at North Dakota State. I've got North Dakota State. I mean, I'm not picking against the Bison here at home. They might win the whole thing again.
Same here, until they get beat, I'm going with Bison.
Rhode Island at UC Davis. Now, I didn't realize we were going to be picking these games. I thought we didn't have a whole lot of games to pick this week, but sure enough, with these, and I have no idea about these teams. So,
the
might
teams,
get me here.
The higher seed 1, 8, 5, 4, all of them did not play last week, so they got a bye, and they're playing at home.
So the 9 seed Rhode Island, the 8 seed UC Davis. I'll take UC Davis at home. Long trip for Rhode Island.
Yeah, I agree. UC Davis was really good last year too.
Number 12 seed Villanova at the 5 seed Lehigh. Lehigh must be the Patriot League champ. 12-0.
Leopards, I want to say.
Yeah, they're the No, that's Lafayette. I think they're the. Oh God, I can't remember anymore. But yeah, that's interesting. Lehigh's 12-0, but and Villanova had a big win, although they beat Harvard last week. No problem there. So I guess
Villanova's 10-2, by the way.
Okay, 10-2.
Yeah,
I was trying to figure out what their mascot is here, but
Villanova.
No, Lehigh. They're the Wildcats. I know that, but Lehigh. Oh, they are the. There's some sort of bird. As I'm looking at this, but anyway,
I'm taking Nova.
You're taking Villanova?
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of think. Did I just say I'm taking Lehigh? Yeah, I did.
You didn't say yet.
Oh, I didn't. Oh man, the Mountain Hawks. That's what they are. All right, I was looking that up. I'm going to go with Villanova as well. I mean, I don't trust Lehigh. I mean, I don't really know them that well. I don't know if I trust Villanova, but I'll take Villanova. North Dakota at Tarleton State. Tarleton State, the 4 seed, 11-1. They're at home. I now know they're in Texas. I like them to win against North Dakota.
Okay. North Dakota is coming off a win against a very good Tennessee Tech team that I think was undefeated. So
13 seed, yeah.
Yeah, give me North Dakota there.
How is that? How do they figure these seeds out? Is my next question. But
well, just like you would for any kind of tournament, you have seeding.
Okay, right, exactly. That's what I was thinking. 14 seed South Dakota State at the 3 seed Montana. Give me the Grizz at home. Montana as a team that's been a powerhouse through the years.
South Dakota State are they the reigning? I think they're the reigning champions.
That's why I wonder how they're a 14 seed. But yeah, I know. I see that.
But the reign comes to an end because you're not going to Montana to win that game.
You're not going to Bozeman or maybe it's Helena. Not sure. Billings. 11th seed South Dakota comes down south to play the 6th seed Mercer. I'm not sure if South Dakota is as good as South Dakota State, North Dakota State. Mercer, has been pretty good.
Mercer lost to Auburn
Yeah,
a
right.
couple weeks ago.
They're 9-2. It's one of their 2 losses.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with the team in the South. I'll take Mercer to win at home.
Okay, I'm going South Dakota.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that, but all right.
You'll notice a trend here with all my picks.
Yeah, they're kind of going in order. It looks like
No, North Dakota, South Dakota,
State, South Dakota,
South
right.
Dakota.
Yeah, you're picking all the Dakotas, and I'm not so much. And finally, Yale at Montana State. Yeah, we just talked about this. I think Montana State.
Yeah, Yale's been a good run, but you're not going to play the Bobcats are winning.
Yeah, Abilene Christian at Stephen F. Austin.
They're both Texas in Texas.
Teams. Yeah, they are. Stephen F. Austin, the Lumberjacks. I like them. So. I like them. I like Stephen F. Austin.
Abilene's 9-3. Stephen F. Austin is 10-2. Yeah. Abilene beat Lamar 38-20 last week. Pick'em game. I'm going. You said Stephen F. Austin.
Yeah, I'm taking.
I agree. I'm going with the home team also.
All right, Conference USA Championship. Kennesaw State 9-3 at Jacksonville State 8-4. Kennesaw State's coach is leaving. Whether he coaches them in this game, I'm not sure. At Jacksonville State, I'll go with the Gamecocks. I'll go with Jacksonville State to win at home.
Same here.
Yeah,
they've been a solid team.
Sun Belt, Troy 8-4, James Madison 11-1. I think James Madison's only loss was to I can't remember. It was a pretty good team. Yeah. But they have a chance to make the playoff, and they're at home. I think James Madison wins.
Yeah, too much at stake for them to lose this game.
The American, North Texas 11-1 at Tulane 10-2. North Texas has scored a lot of points, as we've seen this season. This game at Tulane in New Orleans. Again, John Summerall on the way out. North Texas coach is going to Oklahoma State.
This is actually a really tough game to pick.
Yeah, it really is. I'm going to go with the new Florida coach. I'm going to take Summerall and Tulane. Now that they know he's staying through the playoff, I think I like the Green Wave.
For that reason, too, I'm going with Tulane also.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game, though. You're right. That's a tough one to pick. Mountain West, UNLV 10-2 at Boise State 8-4. I think they already played this year at Boise, and Boise beat UNLV pretty soundly, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was.
And UNLV got put into this championship game based on whatever it was. So,
well, both of them did.
Well, Boise, I thought was
it was a tie. It was a 4-way tie. Remember?
That's right. So Boise got in, and they're hosting this game.
Yeah.
I'd like to pick Mullen and UNLV, but I'm going to go with Boise at the Blue Turf.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. It's like I would love to pick UNLV. I hope they win this game, but the Blue Turf and going there, no, I don't think they're going to win this game.
Big 12, BYU and Texas Tech, both teams 11-1. BYU's only loss was to Texas Tech. Texas Tech, their only loss was to
Texas Tech lost
Cincinnati, I think.
Yeah.
I think they got beat by somebody like that, or something like that. But this game is in Dallas, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Stadium. Okay, so it's in Texas. Texas Tech will have a lot of fans probably there. That being said, I've been wrong on BYU all year. I picked them to beat Texas Tech last time. They got blown out. I'm taking Texas Tech this time to win.
Yeah, same here because they're playing basically a home game.
Yeah,
I like Texas Tech to win.
MAC, Miami of Ohio 7-5 against Western Michigan 8-4. Well, Miami of Ohio was probably lucky to be here as well. Meanwhile, Western Michigan was actually the number 1 seed. I'll take Western Michigan.
Yeah, I agree. Miami of Ohio was fortunate enough to be in that game. Western Michigan was clearly the best team in that league. They did not finish in a tie, unlike everybody else. So, yeah, the game's played in Detroit also. So, basically, it's a home game for Western Michigan.
Oh, that's right. It's at Ford Field. That's true. So, all right, SEC. Of course, this is Saturday afternoon. Georgia 11-1 and Alabama 10-2. These two teams played during the regular season. Alabama won in Athens, which Georgia's only loss. Alabama, of course, after that loss to FSU week 1, 1-10 of 11. only lost coming at home to Oklahoma, who's a playoff team. I picked Georgia to win this game last time. It was in Athens. And I feel like even though this game's in Atlanta, so it's going to be, I'd say it's a Georgia home crowd, but Alabama always has a lot of fans there as well. So it's probably going to be even. Georgia, Kirby Smart's never had much luck against Alabama, but I feel like Georgia is, and I've been picking against Georgia most of the year. I picked Georgia Tech to beat them, but I'm going to take the Bulldogs in this one. I think they get Alabama on the rematch. They're going to be fired up after already playing them one time. Alabama's kind of been really, even the games they've won have been shaky, including Auburn last week. So I take Georgia to win this time.
Not so fast, my friend.
Really?
Give me Roll Tide. They're 4-0 in this all-time meeting. The SEC championship game.
I feel like that's got to change at some point with Georgia, but yeah, right.
Well, eventually it will, but
although Kalen DeBoer's 2-0 against Georgia too.
Georgia's been skating on ice all year. Like they
have, but Alabama has too at times.
They barely beat Tennessee. They barely beat Florida.
Barely beat Georgia Tech.
They have a tremendous defensively. They're really solid. Offensively, a lot of question marks. They don't score a lot of points. Give me Alabama.
All right. ACC, Duke and Virginia. Duke 7-5, Virginia 10-2. I'm going to say no chaos here. And I think Virginia is going to win. I've got them winning this game in Charlotte, even though it is in Charlotte. I don't know if Duke will have that many fans. Duke's 7-5. They're very, and Virginia already beat them once this year in Durham. So I think Virginia wins.
Yeah. Part of me would like Duke to win just to cause chaos.
Right.
And kind of 99 boo-boo with the ACC. Look, this is what you deserve for that stupid tiebreaker. But I think Virginia wins this game.
Yeah, and finally, the Big Ten, Saturday night, Indiana and Ohio State, both teams 12-0, number 1 against number 2. I took Ohio State to beat Michigan last week, and Indiana, I do appreciate the fact that Indiana's 12-0. It's been a really good season, back-to-back years for them under Kurt Cignetti. This game is in Indianapolis, which means Indiana can have some fans there, but Ohio State always has more fans, it seems like. I just think the Buckeyes are better. I mean, they are. I mean, I think they're probably they're the number 1 team. They have been all year. And I don't see that changing much here, even though Indiana's 12-0. I like Ohio State to win this game.
Not so fast.
Oh, really? Okay.
Indiana played Ohio State last year at Ohio State. That game was
close?
late. It was late in the season.
Yeah, it wasn't close.
It was close early on. And I think there were some weather issues, like it may started snowing or something.
I don't think Indiana's played the best schedule this year, honestly, but yeah.
But they have the most exciting player in college football, and he will likely win the Heisman next week.
That quarterback, sorry, I'm pointing again at the screen. The quarterback battle is going to be interesting because I think Julian Sayin could also have a claim to the Heisman if they win. You're right. You're talking about Mendoza. Yeah.
So get the Hoosiers.
Okay. Well, again, they're playing in the Hoosier State, so that'll be probably some sort of advantage for them playing.
And I think that's why I'm picking them too, is because
soil.
They're playing on a so-called neutral site, even though it's basically a home game for Indiana. But I think that plays into their factor because this game was played at Ohio State. I probably would most definitely pick Ohio State, but
now
neutral site.
Who do I want to see win? I'd probably rather see Indiana win as well. But I don't know. I just think Ohio State probably is the best team again. But we'll find out. That's what we're going to the playoff for. All right. Those are our picks for this week. So should be another fun weekend of championship games and FCS playoffs starting tomorrow night, Friday night, and then going into Saturday. Again, this is Thursday, not our normal day. But we'll be back next Wednesday, scheduled now from 9 to 10. From Beef O'Brady's and Start. Okay, that is it for this week. Enjoy the games, and we'll talk to you next week again on the North Florida College Football Gridiron Report here on North Florida Sports Talk. For Corey Davis, I'm Marty Pallman. So long, and goodbye.
All right.